the phone, cook some meals, and knock some doors, and attend worship at the time the elders have appointed? Would you hesitate? I don't think we would. We would be super excited. You say, is that all? Is that all you need me to do? How thankful we would be. Now, if you would, let's look at another version of this in Acts chapter 9. Acts chapter 9, those that have been in Pew Packers, you hopefully remember Acts chapter 9, potentially, the conversion of Saul. Acts chapter 9, verse 1, then Saul, still breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord. You see, Saul had just been there when Stephen was stoned, and he was holding the coats of those that were doing the stoning. He was actually in charge of this. He was overseeing it. Basically, he was authorizing this, or authorized to do it. And if you look at the rest of verse 2, now he's headed to Damascus. He has the authority to do it again. He can go into Damascus and find anybody who is following the way, who's following Christ. But you see in verse 4, he fell to the ground. Jesus intervened. In verse 5, who are you, Lord? He didn't know who Jesus was at that time. He thought that he was doing what was right. What he understood was right was the persecution that he was doing. He thought he was saved. He thought he was on the right path. Verse 6, this is pretty amazing. So he, trembling and astonished, said, this is amazing. Could you imagine being in his situation, his shoes? He's basically just been struck with Jesus in front of him, this complete blinding light here, just out of the blue. And he has the courage to even speak. I couldn't utter a word in that situation. But he asked the most wonderful question ever. Lord, what do you want me to do? He knew instinctively that Jesus needed him to do something. And he knew also that something was very, very wrong here. And there's going to be a gut-wrenching feeling, obviously, here. Then the Lord said to him, arise and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do. You see, Paul had lost his eyesight, but it wouldn't be very long that he realized he had a whole lot more at stake. He had a whole lot more that was lost. Something so valuable that it can't be purchased. It can't be earned. He needed the most precious gift in the world. He needed forgiveness. He needed mercy. He needed active mercy in the form of grace. And let me ask you an offshoot question here. When do you think Paul repented? Was it day 3 of praying? Was it day 2? Or was it in the first 24 hours? Or was it in that first 5 seconds? Can you believe he had to sit there for 3 days knowing that he was completely helpless, without any hope except for Jesus the Christ, the Son of God? He had nothing. Let me ask you this. What would Paul have given up to get forgiveness? Would he have given up these hands? Or all his limbs? Would he have given up his speech and his eyesight? Oh, yes. I can only imagine how he felt. He would have given it all up